Okay, sorry, my cat. Another day for me and my cat in quarantine here. Um, it sounds bad, quarantine. It's really just her and I have elected not to go out of the house because we were recommended not to. But if I really wanted to, I could. And some people do, and they're just spreading corona to everybody. It's a wonderful system. So today, there were less deaths today. Um, I have here 264 deaths, and yeah, things go up and down. I mean, yesterday was like 525, I believe. Um, you know, for the states, 82 deaths in New York, 21 in New Jersey, 12 in California, 12 in Michigan. New Jersey, with New York, it's taken off quite a bit. In fact, if you look at new cases, so cases I feel the most important thing to look at, because when you look at deaths, you're 10 day or so delay. So if you want to see what's happening, look at the cases. New York 6,000, New Jersey 2.2, Illinois 1,000, Florida 900, Michigan 800, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and California. Where's Washington on the list? So Washington was low. That's good. 173. Washington was where this kind of started. If you remember, there's a senior center there where 35 people or so died. Michigan's doing bad. Washington and Michigan are also two states that Donald Trump went out of his way to say that he didn't like the governors, and they're recommended Pence don't call them until they're nice. So think about that. So it doesn't matter that people are dying. I have a personal grudge with that governor, and they have to kiss my butt, otherwise I don't help them. Donald Trump's administration, you can tell, is the whole foundation of it is butt kissers. Like, slightly shady butt kissers. And I'm sure there's some people that aren't shady, but they're all butt kissers, and they're all very kind of political, to be careful. And this kind of leads into an article today from New York Times about the just huge debacle that the administration had regarding testing. They made some tests that didn't work. They didn't welcome other tests from other countries ready to go. They were slow to move on things. And then they threw in a bunch of bureaucratic rules to slow down other labs. Like, they're basically rules, hey, asking people, make us test, go ahead, but here's 28 pages of regulations that you have to deal with if you want to submit these. That's exactly opposite other countries and what you should do. You're in a crisis, you want to throw that crap out and say, send me the stuff immediately, we'll take a look at it, we'll evaluate it. And so bad, so this is CDC that does this, that Stanford said, you know what, we're not going to try. We're not going to deal with this stuff until you take that off, which they finally did 3 weeks later. So like a whole month was lost of time. Do you know when the first death in China was? Official, at least? January 10th. Do you know when the first death in the United States was? January 20th. 10 days, that's it. We're over here watching them like the reality TV show. Oh my God, that's bad. Oh my God, like it's TV. Not even preparing for the upcoming infestation of viruses that are going to hit us. In other news, Mr. Fauci, I guess he's the head of this virus thing, it seems like. I forget his title. He said that he would bet anything that you can't get infected twice from the virus. Good news for me, because my plan was to get sick and then travel the world with cheap airfare and party like a rock star in Italy, China, Iran, and people would just be like, oh my God, that guy's crazy. And I'd be like, I'm like Dark Man, like I'm just invincible. Unfortunately, 2 days ago, the Chinese said something very interesting. They said that 5 to 10% of their patients that went to quarantine recovered. Oh, I'm sorry, 5 to 10% that went to quarantine and recovered, then got tested again and had it. So that's wild. Specifically, NPR said, but data from the quarantine facilities in Wuhan, where patients who were hospitalized for COVID-19 are sent after being treated and discharged from the hospital, shows that 5% to 10% of patients deemed recovered have tested positive for a virus a second time. It's 80,000 people. So you're telling me 4,000 to 8,000 people still had it and the test was wrong? Or the first time the test was wrong, which that doesn't seem right. I don't think you got that many people wrong your test. Yeah. Or they got it again. Or another theory, which is somewhat shocking, which I might as well tell you in a second. Let me go back to the death rate. I made the video about death rate in the United States being 40%. I stick by my math. I should say that death rate will go down. That death rate will go down for a couple reasons. As you test more, you're going to test more milder people, and it'll go down. And keep in mind, the deaths, I'm not sure exactly how long they let a patient be there before they consider them recovered. So for example, if it's 3 weeks and your average death is in 11 days, well, boom, death happens, and you're going to keep this person for another 10 days before you check them off as recovered. That's one reason. Another thing is, in the beginning, when you're doing this intense, if you're testing few people and only the very serious people come over there, and then more of them die, and you're doing that because you're telling the other people we don't got enough space, then as you expand your testing, it'll bring down the number, but there's a delay for that to hit you because the deaths happen first. That's why we saw New York is about 22%. So I think 35% overall today in New York, or in overall in the United States. That number will go down, but they're saying it's supposed to go down to about 0.5 to between 1 and 2%. And that's a big jump. I stick by the statement that I am very furious with the constant, I saw today articles that say the death rate in the United States is only 1.5% or 1.8%, and they're just looking at all cases, not the ended cases. I will tell you the best argument for me being wrong, because I'm that kind of guy. I'll give you an argument and I'll tell you why it might be bullshit. How do you measure? So think about that problem. How do you figure out the people that you don't test because they don't seem to have something and they're asymptomatic? How do you estimate those? Well, the best thing to do is if you just test everybody within a certain population, and you can analyze how many people had it you didn't know. And that is the Diamond Princess cruise, where they take just two horrible words and two cheesy words. It's like a cruise for like 12-year-old girls, Diamond Princess. And this Diamond Princess crew got corona from China, and through a bunch of trial and tribulations, I think they're still in quarantine. Some of them over here. So far, 700 or so had it, and about 10 have died. A couple of those that happened recently. They're not all out recovery, so we could have a few more deaths, but I've seen different things. Let's say 800. I've heard 800. So let's say 10 divided by 800. That's 1.2%. The original estimation was 0.5, 0.5%, so 1.2% diamond, a little more, and might grow a little bit. But that's a very far cry from these 45% for Italy, 40% or 35% now for the United States. Spain is at 32%. Iran is at 17%. So we'll see. Here is a possible theory that would explain why these numbers are wrong and why someone can get infected twice. They're not getting infected twice. It's like the flu. Got the flu, got infected. Next year, you were immune, got infected. No, you didn't. You got infected next year because the flu has changed. The rumor on the streets is that viruses in general, will replicate and have mutations, lots of them, but usually don't matter. The rumor is that there is another strain that matters a lot. And maybe that strain is in Italy. And maybe that strain is more so in the United States. And it's not just a rumor, it's what Chinese scientists believe. And other scientists say, no, that's incorrect, you misinterpreted the data. They looked at some different things and they saw stuff that they indicated this is all natural. But they also saw that they were very different, and they think there is what they call an L strain, S strain, L strain, and the L strain is much more aggressive, can expand faster, and can kill more efficiently. I want to see if that's true. The numbers are not the easiest things to come by, in the United States especially, but I'm very curious if that's true, and if that is true, then we can't keep using China as an example for how we can fix everything. We need to look at Italy, and they have not fixed much at all. Italy has brought it seems to have leveled out, so to speak, of the deaths, but still, we're talking about yesterday in Italy, 5,000 new cases and 756 new deaths. So we'll see. But there's some interesting stuff going on.